I'm Karthik. I'm also known as Tweetologer on Twitter. I'm going to be reviewing the all-new Tata Bolt and I'm pretty excited about it. Now in this review, you'll see me exploring some of the important facets and features that the Tata Bolt brings in an already crowded, hatchback segment. So let's just hope that at the end of the video, you find the video useful. You're able to make some decisions regarding purchasing your new car. And please do let me know if you actually have used the review. No, we'll move over to the first section of the review. Sometime back there were phones, and then there were tablets, and then you had phablets, which were a cross of the two. Similarly, we've now had sedans, we've had our compact cars, and now we're getting to see the compact sedan or the premium hatchback. Tata Bolt aims to be in this segment. Let's see how well it does stacking to its other competitors. But let's first see what the Tata Bolt exactly has that it believes will lure consumers. So why should you buy the Tata Bolt? It's a car for the smarter youth of today who are looking to travel with a connected world, either socially or through with the aid of technology, keeping the safety intact. That's maybe how I'd review Tata Bolt in a single line. But the difference that the Tata Bolt brings is, if you've seen some history of the Tata vehicles, it started off with the Tata Indica in their hatchback segment. The Tata Indica primarily became a commercial car which was used in the Indian taxi industry. So the focus was largely on the person sitting at the back, which is the person who was enjoying the taxi ride. So there weren't too many controls for the drivers as such at the front seats. So Tata has gone from being a back seat car to now being a front seat car. That evolving journey started with the Tata Indica to Tata Indica Vista, which now has also progressed to the Tata Zest, which was launched somewhere around the IPL last year, 2014, April, May. And now it's gone to the Tata Bolt, which is a premium hatchback. And in this, we've seen that there's a lot of facilities and features as well as luxury with a very premium feel around it for the front seats, which is for the driver. So let's examine what some of those features are. For a driver, there's nothing more important than the engine. Tata earlier used to have a Fiat engine for some of its petrol cars. It's come up with a new engine called the Revitron engine, and it packs quite a punch. That is, if you have used gear 4s and gear 5 on a highway, I'm sure you'll realize the adrenaline that kind of kicks in felt by your legs while you're driving the Tata Bolt. But that apart, what does this engine do? It's one of the first engines that has automatic transmission in a compact sedan. I've never seen that, either in a compact car or in the cross between a sedan and a hatchback. Automatic transmissions that are not just gimmicky. They have three of these modes. It's called City, it's called Sport, and it's called Eco. Eco obviously keeps your fuel efficiency very high if you're on a highway. The Sport mode helps you press the accelerator and get the maximum power out when you're racing to some place in a very short span of time. And finally, the City mode, which is the mode that most of us, it's the default mode of driving if you're doing the auto transmission, where you're stuck in a city traffic jam and you accelerate for the first 30 seconds and then again stop 2 minutes later because you're going to be again caught in another traffic jam. So it prepares you for those eventualities. So that way, I think they've cornered a piece of the market which previously didn't exist, which is automatic transmissions for compact sedans, which I think is a very good feature. When I sat in the car and I started driving in the sport mode, I could sense that surge of power that made the car stretch a bit as soon as I pressed the sport button. It was extremely smooth and I could sense the power go away when I went back to the eco mode. On the whole, a very pleasant riding experience and actually a very light steering for you to maneuver the vehicle. In our next segment, we explore what the flat torque curve actually means. To keep in mind for the engine is a flat torque curve. So what does that mean? Not getting very technical, all that means is if you're somebody who cringes at the sign of moving the gears between second and third while in a traffic jam, you don't have to do that anymore. If you're in second gear and you want to accelerate a little further, let's say to about 30, 35 or 40 kilometers, now you can do that in this car. Similarly, you can downgrade. If you're traveling in third gear and all of a sudden you have to move to one of the lower gears at a lower speed, and but you're still in the third gear, it still works. So that's how the flat torque helps. Some of the other important features or functions, let's dive straight away into the steering. Now let's say you're turning on a curve and you've turned it to its maximum capacity on the right, and then all of a sudden you need to turn left. So you need to actually manually bring your hand and turn it left again to move. But here what happens is, once you've turned the maximum on one side, it traces back 95% of that turn back so as to give the steering to its original position. It helps you immediately maneuver other turns or to move straight, which I think is a very nifty feature. It's called the active return feature on the steering. Not only that, now let's assume it's raining. Now when it's raining and you have the wipers on, the wipers help you obviously to make sure your vision is very clear. But what happens when you're taking a reverse? You suddenly realize that the wipers in the reverse don't separately function, or don't have the intelligence to detect that it's raining. You're taking a reverse and it should wipe on its own. You need to press a button for the reverse wipers to function. But it doesn't happen here that way. They've got a pretty nifty feature where as soon as it detects that you've turned the wipers on and it's raining and the wipers are on and you're reversing, it will automatically set the wipers to wipe behind, so that your vision behind is very clear. That's a nice feature. Moving on to some of the other features that are there. The seat behind. I just popularly call it as the Jadoo Ki Jhappi feature from Munna Bhai MBBS, because the seats are so well designed that your back is going to be free from any kind of stress that you may have from a long drive. Not only that, the body hugging features of this particular seat is going to support your shoulders and back. And it's actually called the broad shoulders of a rugby outfit design, while obviously I don't seem to be having anything that suggests a rugby outfit shoulder or design. That's some reminder that I need to go to the gym. And talk about reminders. The car actually has a very nice infotainment system called Kinect Next, where let's say it can remind you how nice a song is, because you've always wanted to do this but you've never seen that feature. Let's say you're adrenaline pumping and you're driving on the highway in the 5th gear and you want a song to be racy and you then raise the volume. It basically takes 1.5 to 2 seconds of your attention away from the road to turning on the volume. Now that feature is mimicked here in the Tata Bolt in their infotainment system, where if a song is playing and your speed is high, it automatically increases the volume of the song to meet the adrenaline rush of your 5th gear. Doesn't that sound interesting? It sure does. But we aren't done with the entertainment system as such. The infotainment system called Kinect Next requires you to basically download these apps only on an Android phone. It supports Android for now. And what it does is, once you've downloaded the apps on the phone, you then connect a cable to the car's infotainment system. And then you're able to access all the functions of the infotainment system. A few of them, you could play music, you could play videos, you could also use it for navigation. But an important caveat here is that while you use it for navigation, your phone's data is not getting used. The car has an inbuilt GPS, so the navigation, let's say you're on the highway and there is no signal there, you can still use the car's navigation without worrying about data costs. We all know how costly data is in India, so you don't have to worry about that. But here's a suggestion for Team Tata. While you are giving a 5-inch LCD for using, it would be great if there's a port where people can plug in their own devices. If you could give us a standard, if it's going to be a Samsung Galaxy Tab or a phablet or an iPad or an iPad mini, as long as you can allow us to port our own devices, because you're anyway trying to make us download an app. The touch feature, the 5-inch LCD touchscreen, looks resistive to me right now. It doesn't look like the touch that we get on some of our devices like the iPad or the Samsung Galaxy Tab as a capacitive touch, but I still find it pretty useful. Just as an alternative, you can always, like the taxi drivers do, hold the phone and connect and fix it to your glass and still use it as a navigation device. Just that the data costs are the only thing to worry. But Windows phones generally, I use a Nokia Lumia 1520. I don't have to worry about the data costs. It's only the battery that kind of gets drained. Now let's move on to some of the other standard features that kind of make the car stand out. When I went to the back seat and sat there, I was able to stretch my legs and sit very comfortably. Usually, it's very tough in a compact sedan or a hatchback to actually be comfortable. Here, five people can sit very comfortably in the car, stretch your legs out. The backrest also is very good. You're not going to feel the stress of a journey if you're going for a 4-hour or a 5-hour trip. Not only that, there's decent headroom too. Talk about space. Let's move to the front seat. The glove box. I find the glove box pretty big inside. It goes all the way deep here. So let's say I'm taking this book out. It goes really deep. So I'm guessing you can keep about 3 to 4 1-liter bottles and maybe a couple of beverages inside here. Very good. You don't go hungry on a long trip here on this vehicle. We again then get back to the boot space. They say it's 210 liters, but given it's a compact car or a compact sedan, you're not expecting too much of boot space there. But if you are going out on a 2-person trip or a couple trip, there's obviously some more space that you can make by flipping the backrests. There are a couple of points where if you open them, you could basically fold your back seat. You get some more space in the car if you're looking to transport a few things out, you're looking to camp out. But that feature in the sedan is actually in the compact sedan is very helpful when it comes to transporting more luggage. But prima facie, 210 liters is actually very little when it comes to boot space. But at the end of the day, it's a compact sedan, so you can't complain so much. Design elements. The gearbox is very slick. It's one of the neatest gearboxes that I've seen. Very smooth in handling. It doesn't have a very boxy feel to it. It's very, so I like the gearbox. Moving to the exterior of the vehicle, the headlamps that are there, the design is very unlike its Japanese or Korean counterparts. The black and out headlamps kind of strike you first up. And the car outside has a very premium finish with the red color. I've seen the red color Tata Bolt when I went out for reviewing. So I like the red color on the car, and it had a very premium finish. Going behind, it had a huge chrome strip that's maybe used to reduce the bulk load of the car. But I think some of these features, it kind of enhances the car's looks, and it definitely makes it stand out from its competitors in this segment. So there ends my review of the Tata Bolt, which is about to be launched just before the Cricket World Cup, and they launched the Tata Zest last year during the IPL, something to do with cricket. I just kind of imagined what would happen if a couple of rather famous cricketing personalities were to go review the Tata Bolt in a single line. This is just included for fun and humor. Have some fun. Take a look at that. Could probably go something like this. Oh, what a beautiful car that is. That's a beautiful drive. What sounds like that? The other? Well, I think that it's a very good drive, and I think the boys actually liked it. So did you like the car? Did you like the review? Do post your comments and let us know. Thank you.